Well, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Burning Cinema, the show where nostalgia has a second chance and we revisit the movies that shaped our past. If you've been with us before, then you know the drill. If not, then get ready to dive headfirst into a piece of cinema history. I'm your host, Ross, and joining me, as always, is my good friend and co-host, Tom. Tom, have you managed to get over what is a double helping of Jurassic Park from last week?
Just about.
Oh, just about.
Like the joys of the first film every time I watch it. Then I think I've cried about the second film because I've ruined it for myself.
Tears, yeah.
So there's emotional turmoil, but I think I'm back.
So that's Jurassic Park put on the shelf for some time being. As we said before, we'll probably go back and we'll have a look at some of the other sequels. And talking of sequels, we continue our theme here, Tom, isn't it, with second chance cinema.
It is indeed, exploring the sequels of the cinema world.
Nice. And so we move swiftly on to this one that I gave you, Tom, which was an absolute cracker.
I'll chase him round the moons of Nibia and round the Antares maelstrom and round perdition's flames before I give him up. There she is. There she is.
Shields collapsing, Captain. Can you give me major power? A few shots, sir.
Not enough against their shields.
The base is starboard.
Scotty, I need warp speed in 3 minutes or we're all dead.
This week, we are looking at Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. And who is Khan? Well, we'll find out who he is later on. And like we always do, we say at the beginning, we look at our experience of seeing this film. And my experience wouldn't have been at the cinema, certainly for this time. It would have been a TV. I was a little bit too young to go to the cinema back in 1982, I think, when it came out. And believe it or not, this was on post-Watershed. And if people don't know what the Watershed is, we probably need to explain, doesn't it, for our overseas viewers of what the Watershed. So in the UK, we have a thing where before 9 o'clock, it's sort of that point of time where we don't really show. It's a no-show, isn't it, for violence and disturbing scenes and anything that might be a bit bad for younger viewers.
I mean, an example of that would be from The Lost World Jurassic Park. Eddie Carr, when he gets bitten in half by the T-Rexes, if you watch that on ITV before 9 o'clock, you won't see it. You'll just see him get dragged out of the truck, and the next thing it skips to is the truck's falling over the cliff.
Exactly. And I remember watching this as a child. I'm probably about 6 or 7 years old, quite young and impressionable. And I remember seeing the infamous bug scene, which we'll get later on. That was just on television for everyone to watch. That was quite disturbing. Yeah. So a little history. This film came off the back of the first film, which was
trash.
Yeah. That's it, everyone. Podcast done, everyone. Yeah. Trash. Yeah. Star Trek, the motion picture. I mean, what a shit title. You know.
Well, I mean, it was an accurate title. It was a motion picture, and that was about as good as it.
Who went to the cinema believing it wasn't a motion picture? I love that we had to be told that this was a motion picture. This is so surreal. Did anyone go there going, oh, I thought it would be 43 minutes of Star Trek with a few commercials? You know, did they think that?
Who knows?
Oh, God. Oh, terrible. The film wasn't great, was it? And it was met with quite a bit of flack. And to be honest, I can see why.
I mean, for those who haven't seen it, the big things about it are, apart from it all being terrible, the uniforms are completely different. There's so many long, lingering shots that literally never end. They just go on forever, and it's so unnecessary. You probably add an extra half an hour to an hour onto it, just lingering shots that are unnecessary. And nothing made any sense.
Yeah.
And it was just really boring.
And it is boring. And you can have all those lingering shots and you can do all that cool stuff, can't you? And it could be interesting, but unfortunately it just wasn't. So it was a bit of a miss, wasn't it? It was an absolute, It wasn't a hit out of the park, certainly. It was more falling to the floor. And so with that, there was no surprise that going down the route of a sequel they probably had to up their game, I'd imagine. And by doing that, they had a couple of people. One of them, Harv Bennett, was given the role executive producer. And before this, a little fact that he'd never seen Star Trek before that. And so he watched all 79 episodes in like sort of a week or something or whatever. And he's realised that there was a certain episode called Space Seed, which featured the villain Khan. And he believed that this was a good idea, that we would make a sequel off the back of this episode, that was something that the motion picture was lacking. It didn't have a villain. And it's right, really, if you think about it.
It's very true. And yeah, I think that was one of the key bits. The fun bit about Khan was that they decided to proceed with writing Khan into the story without actually checking if the actor was free. That was a gamble.
I mean, what a gamble that is, or alive. I mean, that would have been a bit of a take on the reins. But and talking about taking the reins, Nicholas Mayo took over. He did. He's a bit of a Star Trek fan favourite, I think, from Gene Roddenberry, who was the original. So Gene Roddenberry was out. He was out there. He was gone. Yeah. Bearing in mind, he's the creator of Star Trek. He's the godfather, the man himself. Must have been quite annoying for him that, you know, your own product, you're telling you can't really make films about it.
I think the blame of the first one was very much put on his shoulders, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
He kept him on as executive producer, and he still could have ideas here and there, but creative process-wise, it was limited.
Yeah, of course. And but he still has some credit of this production, and you can clearly see that the director and writer were all over this one compared to the first one. I think even if you, regardless of whether you like whatever either version, I think you'd have to be living in a box if you didn't realise that Star Trek 2 is definitely a game changer compared to the motion picture. It definitely certainly they'll go in the right direction. And that was with probably Mayer's vision is probably driven the concept of Star Trek franchise in the direction it is even now, with the concept of it being a more nautical theme. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I got notes on that.
Yeah, and he's quoted he wanted a hornblower in space. Apparently, that's what he said.
Oh.
Not a physical horn, a man blowing a horn, but the ever old age text book. I don't know. I haven't read Hornblower. Don't know. I remember it being an ITV series. That was about it for it. So that's what they did, as I say. But more important for us at Burning Cinema, does it still hold up? Are phases on stun?
Or are they set to kill?
Oh, no. We'll talk about phases later on. Should we deep dive?
Let's do it.
Let's go. So we start off in space, don't we? And we're given the famous Star Trek jingle, as we all know from the TV series. I'm not going to do it.
Please don't.
No, I won't. Go on, let me.
Oh, go on then.
We'll cut that out. That's terrible. Yeah, and that's where it ends. That's all we get. It's almost like, no, I hope you don't get too comfortable, because we're going to be doing something completely different. And we get composer James Horner's very different soundtrack come in, which I love. I thought it was good. It's really good. We have that little bit of, films don't tend to do that nowadays, do they? Have a big long score at the beginning with credits. That's something that's died off a bit, hasn't it?
Massively, yeah.
However, back then, the score was certainly something that would want to get you ready, and it certainly prepares you. And this is a good thing, I think. It sets you up for, you're getting something different, I think. I've never really noticed it when I watched it when I was younger. But this time round, I sat and thought, yeah, anyone who watched motion picture, this is telling them that it isn't going to be the same. This is already different before we've even seen anyone said a word or done anything.
Which is probably very important, really, to just sort of try and wipe your minds and go, this is fresh, we're here with something new, cast that bad memory out of your head and see what we've got for you today.
Exactly. And we end up on a starship bridge, don't we, with a very young Kirstie Alley, who's playing a Vulcan called Savick. And we've got some random classic characters, haven't we, rolling around?
Yes, we do.
Haven't we? Sure enough, sort of things go wrong, and we know from those that are Star Trek fans, this is the Kobayashi Maru. This is the test.
This is an all-time classic.
Yeah, a nice bit of Star Trek history if you know Star Trek. And yeah, it's the no-win situation, isn't it? It's the test captains beyond. And Kirstie Alley, she makes some bad decisions, doesn't she? We lose some characters along the way to say, oh, they've all died.
Yes.
Spock dies, McCoy, you'd hear Scotty from the engine room, all our regular characters, they're all about, and they all sort of die. And then, sure enough, end exercise, isn't it? And in comes what used to be Captain Kirk, but now Admiral Kirk.
Nice little promotion in there.
Spock is now captain, isn't he, of the
He is.
Enterprise, isn't he? And straight away, William Shatner, 50 years old he is here. And already at this very early stage in the Star Trek movie universe, we're talking about, mortality, aren't we? That seems to be the theme of this film. Yeah, I looked up some of the ages because I sat there and thought, well, I kind of grew up with these people, and let's be honest, they're going to make more films, aren't they? There's more. It keeps going. We've got potentially 6 more after this.
Wasn't the original plan, though, when they were first writing it?
No?
No, this was meant to be the end of it.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow.
With the way the film ends, as you know, we'll come on to that.
Yeah, we'll get there.
That was meant to be like the conclusion of it.
Wow.
Initially, when they first started writing it.
So they weren't going to make any more.
No.
I don't know. They did very well on this one. They did very well. So
They did do very well.
I imagine that. So, yeah, I think Dr. McCoy, who plays Bones, he was 61 years old in this. 61 at that point. So, God, he must have been in his 80s by the time we got to Star Trek 6. And I kind of like the idea that we're nodding to it, where we're saying, look, I know they're old. I know. But that's part of the story and part of the plot, and
it is part of the story, and I think that's quite nice to do with it. Like, there's these little details that I noticed was, for example, Kirk recognizing he needs glasses, doesn't he, to read? And there's a nice bit towards the end of the film, skipping ahead, where he's trying to read a book, and his glasses are broken, and he's sort of moving it further away from his face. And I think that has a grounded nature to his character. I think that he's not some sort of superhero. He's very much a human, and he's now, he is getting older, and things start to go, south as you get older. And his eyesight's going.
They do.
And I think that's just quite a nice little.
Thank you for pointing it out.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. But I think that's just a nice little. It makes him more relatable as a character, which I think is something the audiences would like.
Yeah, I think you mentioned about the glasses. That was a little scene that we were in Kirk's, I put swanky penthouse
museum.
I mean, he's part of the relics, isn't he? But and it is mentioned, isn't it? Spock gives him a book, doesn't it? And says your fondness for antiques. And McCoy gives him, it's his birthday, I think, isn't it? Yeah. And they give him some glasses. I do love the idea that, I've got it here. So I love it. It's the 23rd century. We know it is because it told us at the beginning.
Yeah,
right.
Made it very clear.
But they've managed to cure all issues, all problems and everything, including sight. But for some reason, he doesn't know what glasses are. If you notice, he says, "What are these?" Doesn't he? I'm not being funny. I wasn't born 500 years ago, but I know what a suit of armour is and what it would be used for.
For someone who's so fond of antiques.
Yeah. Oh, I love antiques, but I've never seen glasses, ever. I don't know what they are. I'm not being funny. He had enough stuff in that house that was from yesteryear that he should have known. He had swords on the wall for.
Well, yeah, and he had a collection of flintlock pistols,
didn't he? Yeah, and everything. So I think he's well knowledge, didn't he, in the past? But anyway, but I do like the idea of that he's actually allergic, isn't he, to the I think it's called Red Nox 5, I think it's called, that makes you obviously solves your eye problems in the 23rd century, and we'll come to that. Them glasses turn up quite a bit in this film, don't they? In very different moments, which I quite like. They're a nice little gimmick. Meanwhile, on the other side of the galaxy, the USS Reliant is got a familiar face on board, which is Chekhov, isn't it, from the original crew?
Yeah.
And he's doing a bit of moonlighting and reconnaissance on the ship, isn't he? On the Reliant.
Yeah, he's got himself a new captain as well, Terrell.
Well, it's going to lead us into some, and I had to write this down, of what Ceti Alpha 65 and what the combination is, because it gets a little bit complicated, doesn't it?
Yeah, I got a bit confused with this.
Yeah, I had to write it down. So in the gist of, we're basically going to meet Khan, aren't we, for the first time in this film, aren't we? Played by Ricardo Montalban. Love that actor. I just think he's just.
I've not come across him too much. I've only, to my memory, I can only recall coming across him in the episode.
I thought you were going to say Spy Kids. Because he's in that, isn't he? I
can't remember. I
thought you were going to really take it down a level.
No.
I remember him from Spy Kids as the granddad.
Stop doing that.
Okay, all right.
But was the episode and this film. That's all I can remember at this point in time. And yeah, what performance.
Yeah. He brings it to another level, I think. And I love the whole build up where we basically go on a planet, don't we? And Chekhov goes into, it's looked like a marooned caravan, doesn't it? That's sort of been, doesn't it? Sort of like they've hitched up a caravan and gone, well, this is as far as we go. And they've been living, haven't they, in this sort of Winnebago, haven't they? In the middle of this dust planet.
Yes.
And cut a long story short, to try and get their heads around it. I mean, if you've seen the film, you'll know how it works. It transpires that when Kirk had sent Khan, hadn't he, to a planet.
Yes.
From the TV series into exile on Ceti Alpha 5. However, Ceti Alpha 6 blew up and destroyed all life on Ceti Alpha 5, which is the one they're on. Hence why it's all a barren desert in it. And so they've come thinking this is Ceti Alpha 6, and it's not. It's Ceti Alpha 5. Something like that.
Very confusing.
If I'm wrong, please say in the comments. Yeah. If you're a Trekkie out there, you're probably blowing steam out your ears at this moment going, Ross, you've got it completely wrong. That's not correct. But it's something along those lines.
Can I also just...
Go on.
I'm going to be inspired by you and your sort of love of picking out fashion in these films.
Yes.
Khan's funky disco gloves that he wears.
Yeah. Look at them.
Where did you get them from?
They're like straight from Michael Jackson's closet, weren't they? They were, weren't they?
It's an upgrade, really. They're like armor-plated disco.
Armor disco gloves. There's a lot. I mean, it's very 80s, isn't it? I mean, his crew they've got bandanas, haven't they? And
bandanas
things, and mullets
and their big open shirts.
Yeah, they do look like they've got that kind of. They look like they're all from a Duran Duran video, don't they? Sort of thing from the 80s.
Funny you should mention that. A lot of them are actually dancers.
I'll quite believe it. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, that's amazing.
And there's actually talk. So you'll see the reveal of Ricardo's chest, isn't there, when he takes his jacket off. And there was a lot of talk at the time that it was a prosthetic.
Yeah, a false chest.
And it is not.
No.
Even though he's in his 60s at the time.
Wow.
He said he kept his physique by doing a lot of press-ups every day.
That's amazing.
I mean, play to him.
That's, it doesn't look real, but it is real, isn't it?
Shiny.
Yeah. It's very shiny chest.
Like his glove.
Shiny gloves. I'll have some shiny gloves and a shiny chest, please, and we're done.
I think it's also important to mention why they're on the planet is part of the Genesis project. They're looking for this
the overarching story, isn't it?
Yes. They're looking for a dead planet to test the device, and the Genesis project, what it would do essentially is take a dead planet and make life on it.
That's pretty much what it is.
Its atmosphere and settings, essentially.
Hence why they need they don't want any life on it, because obviously it will destroy life as well at the same time. Yeah, but while it's creating
Unfortunately, they found some life, didn't they?
They did. We get to the stuff of nightmares. That's all I'll say. I don't know. Some people might feel different about this nowadays, but as a child, I generally had nightmares about this, having watched it on terrestrial TV. And people who have watched this film will know they're going to put these little tiny creatures into their helmets. They put the helmets on, and then these things slowly crawl into their ears and wrap themselves around in your brain, which means you're now susceptible to suggestion. I hated this. I literally went to bed as a child and would constantly cover my ears up, thinking that some earwig is going to go and walk into and crawl into my ear. Every time I saw creepy crawlies in the garden, I would just like, oh no! It's quite traumatic.
I can see you're clearly still affected by it.
I think it is. Yeah. I mean, watching it now, I get it. It's not real, but even the build up to it is horrible, because there's silence in there, and I think we all know what's coming.
Yeah.
Like, where's that thing going? But in the meantime, they don't really know what Genesis is, and we as the viewer don't really know what Genesis is. And I think we get a lovely bit of exposition scene with Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, where they meet in their quarters. I hope you know this, that there is a CGI sequence.
And talk about the one where it becomes
the
terraforming
planet
from dead to alive.
Talk to me about it, Tom, because I hope you've looked it up.
That is the first complete computer-generated sequence ever used in a feature film.
And it is. And whilst there's been other CGI stuff, hasn't there?
Yeah.
Star Wars, Westworld, stuff like that, I think there has. Like you say, this is the first one completely pixelated animation, isn't it?
It's a mark in history.
Yeah. And, sadly, when I was younger, I didn't go, wow. And I think we've talked about this before in films where I've watched it and gone, yeah.
Cool.
Done, yeah. Moving on. You know, and you go, probably took people hundreds upon hundreds of hours of data recording and doing for, you know, to create this one little tiny sequence. And we just went, yeah, I get it. It's a Genesis.
Right.
Brilliant. Thanks for that. And we get a little bit of friction between McCoy, don't we, and Spock, don't we? I kind of like McCoy's like anger.
Yeah, I like the fact that they are so much in conflict from different ends of the opinion spectrum. And I think you definitely notice in this film some more Spock's human traits. The way he reacts to people. Instead of going straight to the logical argument, he doesn't always do that. He goes on to make interesting facial expressions at some point. So
Of course.
a bit more human. But yeah, they just don't get on. And for someone who first watched Star Trek in the newer films, the J.J. Abrams,
Oh, so your introduction was
from
the J.J.
2009.
Abrams ones, yeah.
I can now see where it's come from.
Ah,
Because Bones and Spock don't get on in that. And now it's like, oh, I see. This is because it's always been a part of their history.
Yeah. That's very, yeah. So you watching this is very different, isn't it? This is like you watching like an alternative version.
Yeah.
But this is the original version, that the others are based on. Yeah, so that's interesting. But yeah, they're going to head off to this science station, aren't they? Circling this planet, and Reliant is now wanting the Genesis, aren't they? That hence why. And we introduced Semi to Carol Marcus, aren't we?
We are.
And we're going to find out a little bit later. There's a bit of a relationship with her, or she's a bit of an old flame, isn't she, of Kirk? And she's the one, you know, believing that Kirk wants the Genesis probe. There's a bit, you know, Khan's playing them all off against each
He
other,
is. He's utilising that mind control of Chekhov to convince Dr. Karen Marcus that she needs to release the Genesis device to them. So she calls Kirk and can't quite speak to him, can she?
No.
There's a bit of signal jamming going on.
But they're going to go, aren't they?
Yeah, because everyone's getting a bit confused as to what's going on here.
Yeah. And Kirk sort of takes over the Enterprise, doesn't he? He sort of becomes captain, but without being captain, doesn't he? He doesn't really sit in the chair, does he? He's going to run it and make those decisions. We're basically building up for the first when Khan and Kirk meet, don't they? But they're not going to meet in person, are they? And they never meet in person, do they?
They do not. I'm going to talk about that a bit later on if I remember to do so.
So with the Reliant turns up and is just floating in space, isn't it? And Kirk sort of they turn up, don't they? And they're kind of like a face-off, isn't there? There's like I think they're going to pass each other.
Like naval,
just one ship passing the other. Yeah. And it's all very much like, so the Reliant isn't talking, is it? Isn't hailing to any response or anything like that. So it's silent. So they've kind of like gone, well, we're not going to raise our shields, which is the first mistake that Kirk makes, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Because he's thinking, well, we're all friends here. In fact, even Khan says that we're all friends here, don't we? Why would we not? Yeah. And it's all part of Khan's sort of, to go past it and then attack the Enterprise, isn't it? And then they realise that whoever's on that Reliant isn't who they think it is.
Not friendly.
No, not friendly. Someone has hijacked the Reliant, and it is Khan. And I love this. I do. I'm gonna get quite excited in a minute. I am right. I am.
Calm
I
yourself,
am.
man.
So we have what is one of my most favourite scenes in a Trek film, and perhaps mostly lots of other films as well.
Ooh.
And I'll go through it as I say that it's Kirk's cheeky play. That's what it is of what he does. So the Enterprise at this stage has been damaged. They're wounding quite badly, aren't they? And I think at some point Scotty's saying from the engine room, we've got no warp. We've got no, he hits hard, sort of thing. Yeah, he knew exactly where to hit us. In fact, even Spock says that. He points to the screen, doesn't he? So he knows exactly where to hit us. He knew exactly what to do. He wants the Genesis probe, doesn't he? Can't, doesn't he? And we see them. They meet each other. Well, they don't meet each other, but they see each other on the screen, don't they?
Yeah, they're like FaceTiming each other, aren't they?
FaceTime on a live stream. Once they revealed that, Khan's on the Reliant, Kirk's here. This is perfect for Khan because he's like, right now I've got you. You're disabled. Your ship's gone down. You've got no shield. They've got their shields up, haven't they? So they can't attack them. And so Kirk has to try and get out of it, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. This is when his experience has got to come to the forefront and save the crew. Yeah,
and I love the almost simplicity of it, but the cheekiness of it.
Oh, big time.
I like that he doesn't want to play by the rules, and it's mentioned that all the way through. It gets to this scene, which I love, where he says, I'll give you 60 seconds, doesn't he, to send over the Genesis detail, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And surrender yourself.
Reliance prefix number is 16309.
I don't understand.
You have to learn why things work on a starship
Each ship has its own combination code.
to prevent an enemy from doing what we're attempting. Using our console to order Reliant to lower her shield.
Assuming he hasn't changed the combination, he's quite intelligent.
15 seconds, Admiral. Khan, how do we know you'll keep your word?
Oh, I've given you no word to keep, Admiral. In my judgment, you simply have no alternative.
I see your point. Stand by to receive our transmission. Soon, lock phasers on target and await my command.
Phasers locked.
Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes. Now, Mr. Spock.
Sir, our shields are dropping.
Raise them!
I can't!
Where's the override? The override!
Fire. Fire!
The anticipation and sense of, everyone holding back, waiting to see what Kirk's doing. I just think it's a really good scene. People might say otherwise, but I do. It's one of my favorite. I've never got bored of it, and I watched it the other night, and I didn't get bored of it. I still was excited. What about that? All them years later, still excited to watch it.
Says a lot. Though,
No, I know exactly what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. It's just, I think it's the music and the build up of it. It's just really good. So
James Horner does know what he's doing.
he does. Yeah, I think if without that score, I think. Yeah, it probably wouldn't. And special effects are quite good as well. They're quite good. They hold up really well.
At no point am I going to slam any of the special effects in this film.
I mean, you can if you want.
I'm not going to, though, because I'm also going to say a lot of time has passed. It is obviously an older film now. Got to give them credit. The special effects are pretty good.
Yeah. I then see, obviously, their big things have, got quite damaged, haven't they? I think some of the crew have sustained some injuries. And randomly, Engineer Scott, right, Montgomery Scott, brings up the lift and into the shaft of the bridge a young cadet, doesn't he?
Oh, Preston.
Preston the cadet, right?
See, this is an interesting bit. So when I first watched this film,
I
was watching it with my friend, and when he's doing his inspection, he's meeting the cadets. He just goes, and who do we have here? And he speaks to this random cadet who's like, oh, yeah, it's my first time out in space. Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and all that sort of thing. And I just went to my friend, well, he's going to die, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he did.
It is. Let me come with you, isn't it? Yeah, isn't it? It is definitely like, well, we're going to lose him on the way, aren't we, at some point? Aren't
Guaranteed.
We? It's my first one. Gee willikers. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to go to space, won't it? I can't wait to go to space. I'm so excited. I got my mum and my dad waiting at home.
And you're never going to see them again.
And that's it. You're going to die, mate. Yeah. But yeah, the one thing that I never noticed when I watched it this time is that Scotty obviously brings him up to the bridge as if to show Kirk. Probably take him to sick bay might be a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean,
at this point, I thought he was already dead, and then it's like, oh no, he's still alive. Now he's dead.
He was still alive. So was Scotty carrying him down the corridor to the elevator shaft to the bridge, and he's going like, where am I going? Where am I going? Oh, and Scotty's going, we're going to the bridge. I need to go to sick bay.
Whoa,
I'm dying.
I don't want to see the captain.
I don't want to see the captain.
I want to see the doctor.
I'm dying. Take me to sick bay. You idiot. But yeah, I think from what I gather from history and that is that I think isn't he some relation to Scotty as well, isn't it? I think if you do some digging around, I think Preston is his nephew or something like that. I might be wrong. I think there's some deleted scenes. I think there are that came on a director's cut. That was supposed to bring like the emotion a little bit more heavier that Scotty had lost a family member, I think, and he was supposed to be looking after him. Something like that.
There you go. I found out the answer.
Have you done some research?
I have done some research, obviously pre-prepared.
Yeah.
Preston is the nephew of Scott.
Oh, I was right. God, I'm good. Yeah.
Yes.
Look at that. Plucked out of thin air.
I too am incredibly humble.
Yeah. Wow. Look at that. I mean, he doesn't make it, does he, Paul Preston? No. He's gone, I'm afraid. Yeah, he bit the bullet. So, yeah, poor old Scott. He ain't happy about all that. So we've lost some people along the way, which is a bit sad.
Yeah.
Now Kirksey's, he's not happy. We already mentioned, didn't we, that there's a lot of redo of all the models, isn't there, and the special effects and everything. We've always said that, Khan and Kirk, they never ever met each other at all, did they? Sort of thing. So we're getting the sense that this film overall is basically a massive jigsaw of random pieces that someone has sort of made, really. It's like weird if you were given the gig for this, isn't it? That you were sort of going, hey, I'm going to give you, but you've already got some of the special effects, and you've already got you've got original crew. You've got it's a story from something else, so it's a sequel, even though it's not a sequel to the motion picture. Put it all together, please. know, and somehow
it's like someone bought the puzzle, but it's like, I'm not actually no good at these.
Yeah.
So do you mind just doing it for me, and then I'll present the finished piece?
I was hoping you were going to give me a food analogy or something like that.
Sorry.
Or some
okay, fine. Pretend I didn't say what I just said.
Okay.
It's like someone's come along with the ingredients to a cake, but
Ah.
said, I can't actually cook, so can you do it for me?
There it is, everyone.
So, the food
There's
analogy.
the food, the
Is
cake
that a new
analogy.
thing?
Yeah, I like that. That's
Okay, we'll
nice.
do a
I'll
food
take
then.
that. I'll take that. That's good. We arrive at the space station, don't we? The science, what's it like? Yeah, science space station, I want to call it. I don't know. They beam down on there, don't they? Kirstie Alley goes with them, doesn't she? Savick.
Yes, she does.
And Kirk is there, and Bones, obviously, of course, you want to take the Doctor with you. And we're walking around.
He's always reluctant at
Yeah.
everything he does, isn't he?
Yeah. He don't want to do anything, does he?
Why have you
He's
got-
a little bit like
why
me.
have you
Sometimes I'm generally at work. I don't want to do any. I'm not really that interested, to be honest with you.
They'll sit there and just go, Bones, why are you here then?
Yeah.
If you don't want to be here.
Yeah, then we'll get somebody else to come down there.
I'm sure there's doctors needed elsewhere.
And I love that we get a rat in space. Do you see that?
Yeah, I thought
on the
that
space
was really
station.
random and made no sense. Why is this rat there?
That can't be anywhere. You don't just get rats in
Well,
a.
To the best of my knowledge, they don't just spawn in space.
No, that belonged to someone. That was somebody's rat.
Pet rat.
A pet rat. Can I bring my pet rat to the science space station? No, not really. Why? It's a science space station. We don't really need rats coming
and they
with us.
Smuggled it in anyway.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I suppose it's give the idea of it's abandoned at the moment. Unfortunately, the crew have been killed, haven't they? The science officers that we saw a little bit earlier on, didn't we? Got a few familiar faces, and they're all bad. And we meet Chekhov has been put in a little cupboard, hasn't he, with the captain, didn't he? And they're there for that. They're there for that exposition, aren't they? To tell you they slit their throat.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to the script, that was meant to have a scene where Khan kills them all. Actually, you see him slit their throats.
Jeez, that's dark for Star Trek.
And that is exactly why they felt it was too dark. They felt it was just too much. And actually, it made Khan, whilst he's a bad guy, it made him really evil. Really homicidal maniac kind of level.
Yeah.
Which we get it's kind of one thing knowing it, there's another thing seeing it, isn't there?
Sometimes the power of implication is better than the actual visual action of it.
And so they left it with Chekhov, just saying what they'd done to them. And then they realised that there may well be some other people alive, weren't they? The transporter had beamed a couple of people down to the planet. They go down to the planet, and sure enough, this is probably when we properly meet Dr. Carol Marcus, isn't it?
We start to get to know a bit more about her and
we
David,
get
who she's with.
And we get a whole thing, don't we, where we start to understand that Carol Marcus was a previous flame, wasn't it, of Captain Kirk, and we get David as well, don't we, who's his son. Carol Marcus is sort of explaining, and we get this sort of little that they once had a relationship, but because Kirk kept flying around the space and wanted to be, which is already noted that he belongs in a spaceship, isn't it? And he wants to do the cowboy riding off into the sunset kind of situation. However, though, while they're down there, we get a glimpse at the Genesis probe, don't we? This torpedo, don't we? It's very, very classic and very stylish. Our captain, isn't it, is still under the mind control of the Ceti eels, isn't he?
Unfortunately so.
Yeah, and they beam now Khan, let's just beat around the bush, Khan now has a Genesis, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. He sort of controlled Terrell, who kills the one extra who was in the room.
Oh yeah, there's a random, I didn't realise that until I went, we didn't even meet him, did we? Or even, I don't think he even said
briefly
anything.
saw his face, and then he was just there to die.
Vaporised.
Before Terrell, again, still kind of dark for Star Trek, turns his phaser on himself.
Is what Khan said. Eventually, they'll send you insane to suicide, didn't it? I think some of his crew members, that's what happened to them, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But Chekhov, no, he just in a lot of pain, doesn't he? And he falls to the floor, and then they zap it. I need to talk about the phasers. Star Trek
Yes, you did mention you need to talk about it. Explain.
Yeah, so I need to say that we only ever see two settings: stun and complete annihilation. That's a dangerous weapon. I did some research because it bugged me. It bugged me a little bit. It did, because I sat there and thought, hold on a minute, have these phasers got? And I know there's some Trekkies out there, and they're all going to go, no, Ross, let me explain. Don't worry, you won't have to. I've done my research. I've found out. So I thought there was only two settings. There was literally stun. Oh, you're stunned. You can get up later on, or we'll get rid of you out of existence. You are literally, there is nothing left of you gone.
Of the scale.
Won't even have a funeral because there's nothing. There's no ash, anything. And I was thinking, that's the most dangerous weapon I've ever heard of in films. Oh, sorry, I thought it was on stun. Well, it isn't.
My bad.
Sorry about that. We just vaporised Colin from engineering. Oh, I don't know. And however, though, after a little bit of research, I found out that there are 16 power settings. There are. Yeah.
Oh, they just decided to have on full whack.
I assume, as you've worked for Starfleet, that you would have to learn all those 16 ones. I imagine, number 1 is like, just stun, and number 16 is like obliteration. I find it amazing still that you'd have a weapon that would do that. That is incredible.
What do you do in a panic trying to change your settings, though?
Exactly. Yeah.
Do I want 7 or 8?
Yeah. Oh, damn, I thought it was on stun. Whoops. Yeah, we come in peace. Oh, but we've killed them all.
Yeah.
We were going to stun them when we don't. Yeah. But yeah, I remember seeing that, and just watching this film the other week, I literally watched that and I thought, yeah, because everyone's got it on like disintegration mode, haven't they?
Yes.
Which is fine.
Which is fine.
Which is fine. It's just a gun that can kill people horrendously, that's in the hands of people who are just whatever. We get a great little monologue, don't we, with Kirk, and it has been used, hasn't it, a number of times in memes, GIFs, hasn't it, and different things, and where he shouts out Khan.
Khan, you've got Genesis.
But you don't have me. You are going to kill me, Khan. You're going to have to come down here. You're going to have to come down here.
I've done far worse than kill you. I've hurt you. And I wish to go on hurting you. I shall leave you as you left me, as you left her, marooned for all eternity in the center of a dead planet. Buried alive. Buried alive. Come! Come!
Kirk's not happy, is he? He's not happy. Got the better of him, hasn't he?
Very much so.
And that's what I say. In this film, it's very much like a game of wits, innit? I find in this. It's not so much action. It's more of like who can get one over on each other. Now, Khan's got the upper hand. Now, again, he's now in charge of the chessboard, isn't he? He's got the Genesis weapon. Kirk hasn't. However, like every time, Kirk's always got something up his sleeve, hasn't he?
He's got a plan.
Yeah. Nice bit of misdirection, hasn't he, from earlier on, when he starts talking about days instead of hours, isn't it? I like that. I think that's quite cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Kirstie Alley, character Savick, doesn't she? She plays the kind of moral compass, where she's like, well, you're not supposed to have like, was it coded transmissions, are you?
No.
And he's like gone, well, yeah, I meant hours instead of days instead of hours. Yeah. And Mr. Spock knows exactly what he's on about.
Very much so.
I love that. I do think that's quite good. But yeah, I mean, how do you feel like, do you see the same thing as I do? Do you see like this kind of cleverness or whatever about it all?
There is definitely the cleverness to it, and I will go into some of the issues I have with this film in a bit. But there is the element of cleverness where it is sort of, someone who's very experienced at the top of their game, admiral. You don't get there from being an idiot.
Mm.
And then you get someone who believes himself to be a superior being fighting one another, but not face to face.
Yeah.
It is very much a case of trying to see who can outsmart who, and they're motivated by different things. Kirk's motivation is just trying to keep everyone alive, and Khan's is pure revenge.
Yeah.
You've got two very opposite forces, two very opposite people, and it is very much one gets an advantage, the other one gets the advantage back. It's a back and forward, and I think that is a fun, exciting element to it. It's a different way of presenting characters. Instead of just going straight into let's just punch each other in the face as many times as we can.
Punch each other in the face.
It's using the brain. And I think it's an interesting concept. You don't see too much of that this day in films. Normally they just have a fist fight.
And it must take writing. That's the thing. And that's the thing it does. And I think you can probably direct enough fist fights and spaceship battles to know what you need to achieve and what you need to do. But that kind of clever sort of choreography of acting, if that makes any sense, if there is such a thing, it is quite good. And I think it's quite well done in here. Slowly, aren't we, sort of getting to, what is the sort of almost the end, the finale, isn't it? We've tricked Khan, hasn't he? Because Khan thinks that they're going to be stranded still at the space station.
To lure him out.
Yeah, to lure him out. And however not, they've beamed him back on board. Now everybody's on board, Carol Marcus and David, his son, is now on there as well. Yep. But effectively, we're coming to what is the final scene, isn't it? Where he's going to basically lure him, isn't he, into what is called the Mutara Nebula, which is a sort of space gas giant, isn't it, or something phenomenal.
Yeah, and the whole point of that is the fact that it's going to interfere with sort of the ability to see the other ships. So you can't get targeting right. It's going to take out your shields. You won't be able to activate them.
Yeah.
The point of it being is to level the battlefield.
Yeah. And they've got no warp capability, have they? They can't blast out there at warp speed. So that's not on the cards at all. And he starts opening up. And I've always been fascinated by the trigger mechanism for the Genesis, which is this kind of like cylinder metal 3-stage cup system. I don't know, like a child's, like one cup goes into another, isn't it? Like metallic thing. And I always used to sit there and think, how are you gripping onto that? Because he has to turn it, doesn't he?
Mm.
Like he had to, and if you've ever tried, it's like basically like a tin of beans, isn't it? It's all sticking out, isn't it? And you've got to turn it. And he's got his glove. Take the glove off, mate. You'll have more grip. The prop design is great, actually, because we know that once all three of those little circles have gone in, we know we don't need to be told how much time or anything. We know to know it's armed.
Yeah, and that's it. You don't need to, spoon feed everything to everyone.
Yeah, they realise that they are going to get caught up in it, aren't they?
Yeah, they're not going to get out.
And it's a classic, like, we need to do something. And I kind of like that moment. I think it's quite good. There's a little moment with Spock looks, doesn't he? And he has a little moment, and you can see on his face, he's got an idea.
He's on a mission.
And he goes down to the engine room, and we get this classic scene, don't we, where, Spock's going to save the day, isn't he?
He does indeed.
He's gonna save the day. Good old Spock. He goes into the compartment. It's very super radioactive.
Yes,
and he opens up what I described down here as a public bin. It's in the middle of the room. He takes the top off the bin. And it looks like a rubbish bin, like you'd see in the street, innit?
Just with a beam of light in it.
Yeah, and he takes dust in it and some dry ice.
Yeah,
and he rummages around in this bin, doesn't he? I know he's trying to find Kirk's glasses, isn't he? And that's what, once he's found them, we're good. We're good to go, aren't we? We can get. Yeah. I found them for you. Here they are. We're good now. Put your glasses on. You can now do some clever stuff again.
Yeah. How are you going to get us out of here now?
Yeah, he sort of rummages around with some gloves. Because you want gloves when you're rummaging around in a public bin, don't you? So, getting out there, right? He's found a can of Coke and an old nappy. What are these doing in it? No wonder we've got no warp speed. No wonder we've got nothing going on. Got all this shit in here. Look, it's all blocking it up. Right. Spock is technically saved the day because he puts the lid back on the bin. Keep calling it the bin. I don't know what it is.
It's the warp drive.
It's the warp drive, the core. I don't know, whatever it is. Yeah, the warp drive.
Bin.
Sorry, the bin. It looks like a bin. Right, so he puts it on, doesn't he? And sure enough, things light up, hit the switch, gone. Off with the zoom out of here, aren't they? And then the Genesis blows up, doesn't it? Yeah, bang. Managed to get away just in time. But not without a sacrifice, isn't it? Not without some sadness. And we realise that Spock's missing out of his seat, don't we? And we have to go back down there and find that Spock's not looking good, is he?
He looks healthier.
And what people think about Scotty and the bagpipe solo, I don't
love
know.
it.
It's quite good, isn't it?
I mean, I'm biased because I do like a bagpipe.
It's Amazing Grace, isn't it? Or
It is
something?
Amazing Grace. I think it's just really fitting.
I spoke to friends of mine that are Star Trek fans, and they say this is emotional. This is actually genuinely would make you feel like you want to cry. And I think it's the bagpipe solo that makes it.
That is it. If it was anything else, you probably wouldn't get there. But I think it is there is something about. I'm going into a musical version of this podcast now, but it is something about the bagpipes that do draw out emotions.
Yeah,
and I mean, we see them at a lot of funerals anyway. So there is always that association with bagpipes and funerals.
Yeah.
Also, particularly in military, the whole point that the director wanted was to try and bring back this sort of military theme to it, because that's what the original creator wanted Starfleet to be based on, as a bit of a military background. It all ties in.
People often talk about, like, where is Spock going? I mean, they put him in a torpedo tube, didn't they? And blasted him off into space. Were they his wishes? Are they going to get back to space dock and then suddenly go, where's my son? His family are going to be waiting there going,
over there somewhere.
We saw everyone come off the Enterprise. But like, Captain Spock, and anyone know where he is? Yeah. Oh, we put him in that torpedo tube.
Yeah.
Oh, guy.
Floating around in space.
Do you know where we sent him? No, I just fired him. We fired him off at breakneck speed.
Yeah. Who knows where he is?
Would he have survived? I don't know. We've never done that before. So why did you do that?
Please explain. So there's an interesting bit about the whole Spock death. So Leonard Nimoy, as we now know, as Spock,
classic actor,
had to be reluctantly convinced to turn up in the motion picture. So it may not come as a surprise that he was reluctant to appear in the second one.
Wow,
to say the least. However, he was convinced by the promise of a death scene. However, he didn't know about the little ending scene where we see the coffin. And it was at that point when he saw it, he realised, I'm probably going to be getting a call.
Yeah, you're coming back. Yeah, definitely. Right at that very end scene, don't you, when you see the torpedo tube on what is Genesis, isn't it? In a now developed planet. You sort of go, it's intact. Genesis creates life.
Something may be happening.
1 and 2 together, we kind of know what's going to happen, I think, here.
Oh, yeah.
And it kind of ends, really, doesn't it? We have Spock given the monologue of space, the final frontier, etc., isn't it? He does the thing at the end, which is nice. We decide that that's the end. I mean, it could have been the end, couldn't it? Realistically.
Yeah, it off quite nicely.
That you could have gone, we'll never find out what happened to Spock. Did he survive? Did he not? Or did he just rest in peace, on the planet?
So, I mean, you could have taken that coffin being in the forest as like a nice, pretty final resting piece.
Yeah. It's so open, innit, that it's not on the nose that you go, we'll wait for number 3. As we all know, number 3 does exist.
It does.
So does 4. So does 5. So does 6. And so does, weirdly, 7, which is a crossover. But yeah, we got to the end of that, didn't we? That was Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. I mean, Tom, you've been kind of like, sitting on the fence with this, I found, all the way through. You've been keeping kind of rather like Q a little bit on this one, as if to say, I think you're either building up for something you're going to tell me, or...
I find this film to be very, very 50-50.
Oh.
Some of it is so good. Khan's portrayal, the whole cat and mouse, suspense, intelligence, battle of wits, very good. And then equally, I find some of it so frustrating or slow. I found the film, what it didn't do was grip me.
Ah,
So
interesting.
not as bad as the motion picture, which was so boring. I went off and
It's terrible.
did chores while it was in the background.
Yeah,
And for
yeah.
me to be
I know.
bored watching a film to go and do chores is quite something.
100%.
Too slow. They didn't have it being as slow. I still felt this film needed a bit more energy to it. It lacks that energy to really grip me and maybe sort of put me on the edge of my seat at any point. Even when it was tense, I was still sort of sat back going, pretty chill about this.
Yeah.
That was something that was an issue for me.
Yeah.
Also, other little bits. I am frustrated that we didn't have Khan and Kirk face to face. And that's just a personal opinion. But just having them on FaceTime to each other, again, didn't add to the drama. And the other bit I think this film needed is a tiny little bit at the end when they manage to get warp and they disappear.
Yeah.
Jennison blows up. What I think they needed was a tiny little shot of Khan seeing them blast off to safety and realizing he lost.
Ah, yeah.
I think that would have been, again, it's a personal opinion, but I think that's
interesting. Yeah, you're probably right on there on that thing. Yeah, that would have been just that little. Yeah, like you say, nothing too big, just a small thing of him watching the telescreen and
seeing them vanish off to safety
and see them disappear and go and realizing I've lost, and then it blows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it needed that.
It's made up of so many different other elements. So we're out with the old, we're in with the new, but at the same time, we're in with the old, with the crew and stuff like that. So we're out. So director, writer, all that sort of stuff. We're in with the old, i.e. we've got old special effects we're reusing. But however, we're creating some new ones that are really good as well. We're out with the old uniforms, in with new ones. So we're still not giving.
But then they're still closer to what this series would have been.
Yeah.
Than whatever the hell they were wearing in motion picture.
Yeah, at least they had some sort of like rank structure thing. It looked like they belonged all together in not just a bunch of randoms in all different types of random beige uniform like the motion picture.
Jumpsuit stuff.
I mean, it really was like
boiler suits and whatnot.
Mine is so 70s, weren't it?
It looked very cheap.
Yeah,
junky.
It did. From number 1 to number 2 is phenomenal.
Oh, categorically.
I mean, it happens a lot in films. You think like Star Wars, the jump from Star Wars to Empire Strikes Back, a jump, but not like this on this level. This is huge, isn't it?
Oh, this is an Olympic level. Olympic
level is. It is. You know how I feel about this film. I wouldn't have chose it otherwise because I thought it was a great film to talk about, because it's got so much history and so much and it literally sits really well on our little theme, isn't it? Which is second chance cinema. It is a second chance, isn't it? It's the second chance for them to have a go at this.
I mean, yeah, because could you imagine if this film had have bombed as well? That probably would have been the end of Star Trek.
We wouldn't have got it for years. I reckon we probably would have never even got Kirk, William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, all the people who played the original series. They would have sacked them off, I think, and just gone, we're not doing it. And we would have waited until J.J. Abrams came along and said, I'm going to take this old TV series and I'm going to make it new,
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
This is literally them thinking, can we actually reinvigorate this series?
Yeah.
Can we get it back on its feet and up and running?
Yeah, there must have been mileage in it. Certainly the film studios must have sat there and gone, we want to do this. We still think it's got legs. It can still stretch itself,
But it was equally a huge gamble. Whilst the motion picture did well financially, it very much, I think it's a sour point, isn't it, for the series and the whole universe of Star Trek as a whole.
If you watch any Star Treks, if I was to say to you, and I know you're not probably, whilst I'm not a Trekkie, I'm not completely like engrossed in it. I'm a casual watcher, but I do enjoy watching the films. I would say to anybody, don't bother watching the first one. Jump straight into the second one. You don't need to. It won't bring anything to the table. It won't do anything. And let's be honest, I still believe to this day, Star Trek 2 is a remake. Is the first film is a remake of the motion picture. It's interesting, isn't it? Because I'm interested in your view on this, and that I've been looking at, because here at Burning Cinema, one of the biggest things we do is look at is it still good? Does it still hold up? And I think with your 50-50 thing, you're probably about on par there, isn't it? Special effects, things still quite good by today's standards.
Yeah.
Acting's good. It looks kind of good, like the internal shots and stuff and things that are done in the scenery. I didn't find I was taken out of it by too much glariness of like, oh, that doesn't look very real. I didn't feel, yes, there's some matte painting of the Genesis cave. Yes, there's,
I did like the matte
sort of
painting,
thing.
though.
But you kind of go, yeah, I don't really. A little bit like when we spoke about Willow, didn't we, a few weeks back?
Things will age. That's just a fact in film. And so you'll get to a point where you start to go, you could tell that's this, or that's
it's
great.
Aged as good as milk.
I'm willing, but I'm willing generally to overlook that in films, and I was able to do that in this film. I wasn't sat there going, "This is." Whereas you compare it to the first film, and I was less willing to overlook, because in that everything was bad, acting was bad, writing was bad. In this, there's wonderful improvements.
I get your take on it. That's absolutely fair. I mean, watching this, I find it a very easy and enjoyable watch. I really did. I felt that I could just watch this anytime it's on, and it's fine. I think the score by James Horner absolutely sets it above than most other sci-fi films. He's all over that. I like the characters. I like the story. Did you have anything favourite? Did you have a little something that stood out for you in it?
I think my favourite bit is categorically when we first meet Khan face to face in this film, and he's talking to Chekhov and Terrell, whatever his name is.
The captain, yeah.
Yes. His speech, his monologue, his calm evilness, that one moment of rage before he brings it. Oh, it was just beautiful to watch.
Yeah,
it was something, and I think that is the scene of the film, in my personal opinion.
He's showing you spontaneous and he's unstable, isn't he? Whilst he is composed, deep down inside, he is unpredictable.
It's like a creme brulee.
Ooh,
underneath you've got all this simmering rage. That's the soft bit.
Yeah.
It's a thin, crispy layer at the top that's keeping it contained, but it's very fragile and will break easily.
I love the food analogies. I keep bringing these in. You know what bit I like? I like that when he drops the shields. I went a little bit excited there on that bit, through our deep dive.
And understandable.
I still think what a great sequence. I do. I think it's so good, and I just like it. And it's as simple as that. You have these things that you see in films, don't we, that we do. And so what we now slide into, the most important part, is the official flame rating. Tom, I'll go to you. What have you got for us? Is it still hot or is it not?
I'm going to go for a 3.
Oh, that's nicely in the middle there.
Because it is, for me, it's a very 50-50 film. I've already explained my sort of the downsides of it, I think. Some of it is, some of it's really well written and other bits of it are not so good.
Yeah.
It's very much sort of on the fence with a lot of it. But it still holds up. It's still entertaining. You put it on, I'm still going to sit there and watch it. So it's a nice 3.
Yeah, lovely.
And categorically, I think it does give this franchise a second chance.
Definitely. I like what you did there. Yeah. And I 100% it does, doesn't it? Yeah, it completely revigorates it, doesn't it? And brings it back online. I went for a 5 flame. I did.
Whoa!
I know, I did.
Good heavens!
Because I think it's matured really well. I think where I watched it as a youngster, I liked it. I now find as an adult, I like it more. I understand it more. And maybe because I was just too young at the time, to really embrace those little moments with Kirk and Spock, McCoy and getting annoyed, the whole genesis and what that was really all about and everything, the standoff, the tension of the, Matara Nebula scene, where they're in there. Like I said before, I was a little bit bored when I was younger. However, now older, I kind of like it. I like the slowness of it. It's refreshing, I find now, rather than just absolute chaos. Don't get me wrong. I like a bit of action and like a bit of, and certainly the newer Trek stuff and, out on TV series is fun to watch. But one thing I miss, hence why my favourite scene is the game of chess between two people, like this outwitting each other and being clever about it, and in all films, I like the cleverness, whatever film it is. And raise this up, I will, on other films when we get to them as well. But that's my personal opinion. See what you think.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, there you go. That was Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Well, you're going to chuck us something for Second Chance Cinema. You're going to give me what sort of crazy sequel are we going to go? We're going to go for. Is it going to be something that brings it back online? What you got for us?
Well, I've decided to go for what I think is a big one.
Oh,
so we're going to go and take the sequel to what I think is the original big summer blockbuster.
I'm excited.
We're going back even further in time, once again to 1978.
Cool.
To go and see Jaws 2.
Look at this. That's a shark.
Look, Brody, you started a panic on a public beach. Now, what if somebody decides to sue us?
That's a shark.
Did you ever stop to think about that?
And I know what a shark looks like because I've seen one up close. You better do something about this one because I don't intend to go through that hell again.
Don't press it this time.
Mike is out there.
Jaws 2. Oh, this is going to be an interesting one. This is. I mean, if ever there was a sequel that was, and told to, be good, because
work.
I mean, that's got some work to do, hasn't it? It really has. I mean, yeah, at least with Star Trek 2, it didn't have a lot of work to do, did it?
Very easily better than what came before it.
Yeah, but, a follow-on to what is a absolute masterpiece is interesting. And there we have it. Yeah, that's what we've got for next episode. We continuation of the deep threat of Jaws 2. We'll tune in 2 weeks' time, isn't it, when we can listen to that?
It will be.
And where we will return to the water and see if it's still safe to go in.
What you did there.
Yeah. Or is it like a floater in a swimming pool? Who knows? But start laughing now. I can't stop. And you can catch that in 2 weeks' time, obviously on our normal platforms. Remember, you can follow us on YouTube and on Spotify, and you can keep up to date on all the upcoming themes and episodes on the Instagram. And that's all we have time for, Tom. And all I'll say is it's goodbye from me.
Yeah, goodbye from me. Live long and prosper.